Please welcome Speaker Emerita and U.S. Representative from California, Nancy Pelosi.
Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Good evening, everyone. Paying tribute to Ellen Malcolm is a personal and official honor for me, and that is what I have been invited to do tonight. More than 100 years since the Seneca Falls Convention, 175 years since the Seneca Falls Convention, over 100 years after women had the right to vote, Ellen Malcolm has acted upon a vision of equality and excellence. Ellen is in league with the great American women suffragists whose ongoing dream she has helped building and to fulfill. As we look around this room, and as you saw so many women rise tonight and celebrate the 40th anniversary of Emily's List, the many elected women, members of the boards she developed, and the staff she mentored, including the distinguished presidents here tonight, and our Madam Chair, whom we just heard from. You've already stood to be recognized, so I will just again acknowledge so many elected women who are here. And again, a special recognition to my colleagues in the House of Representatives who they elected me Speaker, so I acknowledge them, past and present. All of the women here are Ellen's living and growing legacy and a testament to her vision, her strategic thinking, and the impact that she's made to change the dynamic of women in politics in America. I first learned about Ellen Malcolm and Emily's List from Senator Barbara Mikulski, who was here with us tonight. Hello, she was acknowledged already. It was 40 years ago, 1985, Barbara Mikulski was running for Senate from Maryland. I went to see her about her race. I wasn't in Congress yet. I didn't even have any intention of running for Congress. But anyway, I went to see Barbara Mikulski, and she told me about Ellen Malcolm and Emily's List, and that Ellen was putting this together in her basement. I wasn't sure about the basement part, but they say that that's authentic 40 years ago. Emily, as you all know, stood for early money is like yeast, because just like yeast, early money rises and helps a woman candidate rise in her quest for office. In 1987, now some events transpired in the meantime, when I was elected to Congress, think of this, out of 435 members of Congress, there were 23 women members. Boo. 23 members, 12 were Democrats, 11 were Republicans. And we knew something had to change. So women members, the 12 of us, including Barbara Kennelly, Barbara Boxer, whom you've seen on the screen, and I worked to make sure that we elected more women to Congress. At the time, since then, we have seen a Brown University study that it said it took 4 times for a woman to be asked to run for office before she would agree to run. So Ellen Malcolm's maxim was, consider yourself asked, 4 times. Ellen's organization, Emily's List, quickly built a tremendous record of electing outstanding women leaders, including in 1992, the Year of the Woman. That was just the first year of the woman. We would have more to follow. Now, that was a far cry from the attitude inside the Congress when I ran for leadership a few years later, and the men said, who said she could run? Poor babies. And I said, you know who said I could run? I did. As Ellen said, I considered myself asked. Ellen believed then, and proved over the decades that all issues are women's issues. The economy, our security, the environment, you name the health issues, housing, every issue is a woman's issue. And that could only be addressed in full and in authentic conversation if women were in possession of power. Ellen Malcolm saw power in women's circles of friendship, which she taught candidates to consider circles of influence. We could call Ellen one of our earliest influencers. Ellen taught women candidates that the sacred bonds of friendship among women were also what sustains good public policy and support for women in office. Ellen was right about those circles of influence and the awesome power of women helping Democrats take back the House in 2006 when we did. When we won that Democratic majority, we did it with a large contingent of pro-choice Democratic women whom Ellen had influenced and helped elect. Democrats achieved a critical mass of women members, which ensured that women were not only claiming a seat at the table, but as Speaker, I could name more women to have gavels at the head of the table. Those women were a determinative factor in my own race to go from minority leader, the first woman Speaker of the House of Representatives. So today, I proudly say that my name is Nancy Pelosi. I'm America's first woman Speaker of the House. I am Emily. Let's say it all together. We are Emily. And when Democrats win back the House next year, our country will be well served to have the gavel back in the hands of our once and future chair of appropriations and a former executive director of Emily's List, Congresswoman Rosa DeLauro. Without Emily's List, we would never have had a woman speaker or a woman vice president. And because of Emily's List, we will have a woman president of the United States. Ellen made it look easy, but there was a lot of construction going on. Ellen built up a board and an unmatched network here at Emily's List that has carried the torch forward for a new generation of outstanding leaders. For 4 decades, 40 years. 40 years is fraught with meaning, 40 years, in a biblical sense. But for us, Ellen has also been a mentor and served as a model for other leaders and organizations to follow in relentlessly promoting women and the power of women. Today, nearly 3 years after Roe v. Wade was overturned by the Republican supermajority on the Supreme Court, and as women's health care is being criminalized by the current administration, our work to protect a woman's right to choose and to elect more pro-choice women at every level of state and federal government is even more urgent. Do you agree? I thought so. Our marching orders are clear. Elect women. Take back power. Make no mistake about it, we will take back the House in 2026 and elect Hakeem Jeffries as our next Speaker of the House. And Chair Susan Delbene, who is here with us tonight, leading the charge for our House Democrats and candidates at the DCCC, with tremendous support from Emily's List. And so, for having the generosity of spirit to say to women, consider yourself asked, for having the strategic insight to create sisterhoods in politics, and for having the success of helping to take us from only 12 Democratic women to currently 96, but over hundreds along the way. We are grateful to Ellen Malcolm and Emily's List for helping all women rise. And so, I want you to, again, please welcome my friend, our beloved sister in service, our influencer, our master suffragist, the great Chair Emerita, Ellen Malcolm.
Please welcome Emily's List founder and board chair emerita, Ellen Malcolm.
You're simply the best. Better than all the rest. Better than anyone. Anyone I've ever met. I'm stuck on your heart. I hang on every word you say. Tear us apart. Maybe I would rather be dead.
Wow. I'm glad Nancy Pelosi considered herself asked, but I'm even happier that she answered. Wow. It is such an honor to receive this recognition from her. We had a dream that if we could help women get political power, they would improve our world. Nancy Pelosi, you are and always have been the best example of our dreams coming true. Thank you so much. Dreams. Emily's List has always been about having dreams and then making them come true. For 40 years, we've done that, and our country is better off because of our work together. People often ask me, why did you begin Emily's List? Well, the answer is really quite simple. We were pissed. We were sick and tired of the old boys network who refused to take women candidates seriously. Their lack of support doomed women candidates, and most of the time they lost. For women of color, the barriers were even higher. The lack of support, the lack of respect, made us mad, and we decided to change those dynamics. A small group of us decided to do something different. We focused on raising early money for our candidates to give them more credibility. And we thought if we could create a network of donors, we could raise financial support for our Democratic pro-choice women. Because we were different, we came up with a different name. Emily's List. Early money is like yeast. Whoa. Early money is like yeast because we make the dough rise. Big dreams, simple strategies, but we needed one more crucial element. The founding mothers decided to act. They didn't just talk about these good ideas. They didn't just dream about equality for women and complain that we didn't have it. They began to reach out to everyone they knew and ask them to join Emily's List. And I am so proud that some of the founding mothers of Emily's List are here with us tonight. I want to thank them and tell them we are not in the basement anymore. One of the things I'm most proud about with Emily's List is that we evolved. We could have just raised money for candidates, but we decided to do more. We tried to find solutions for other problems our candidates faced. Initially guided by our political architect, Mary Beth Cahill, we began to train candidates and staff to work in campaigns. We became the national expert on women voters and how to get them to vote for Democrats. We broadened our recruiting and training to help women run for state and local offices. We became a full-service political operation with a staff of some of the smartest, hardworking, committed people in the business. I love our staff, and I want to thank anyone here who has worked for Emily's List. God bless you. Certainly the most important part of our victory equation was finding our candidates. Democratic pro-choice women candidates are an extraordinary group of courageous, smart, tenacious people who dedicate themselves to improving our communities. Whether they win or lose, we are so grateful to the women who dare to run and represent us in public service. Will the women who have ever been supported by Emily's List raise your hand so we can thank you? Look at them all. In 2010, after 25 years of president, I decided it was time for me to change my role and look for a new president. 3 extraordinary women have followed me as president: Stephanie Shriak, LaFonza Butler, and Jessica Mackler. Each one has brought her own special talents and perspectives, but they all have made Emily's List stronger and more effective. I'm proud to have cheered them on, and I want to thank them for their leadership and their friendship. Dreams, smart strategies, a network of activists who decide to act, people who put their resources behind their beliefs, candidates who dared to run. That's how Emily's List began. That's how we've operated for 40 years. And that's how we will continue to change the world. We're making our dreams come true, but I have to say, I know you'll agree, we're currently living in a political nightmare. Donald Trump and his MAGA toadies are hell-bent on overturning our democratic history and traditions to build an autocratic fiefdom based on fear and intimidation. Trump's narcissism has no bounds as he wields his hammer on everything from the world economy, the rule of law, to our national parks and Harvard University and more. His callous disregard for people is cruel, sociopathic, and disgusting. I don't need to review the shocking list of things that are taking place. I'm sure for every example I can mention, you can think of 3 more. And I bet you understand what I mean when I say that every time I look at the day's news, I cycle through a horrible range of emotions: shock, horror, depression, fear, powerlessness, anger, determination, doubt, only to begin again when I read the next story. It's exhausting, and I'm sick of it. And I bet you are too. So in great Emily's List tradition, I'm going to suggest a plan to stop this nightmare and repair our psyches. It begins with a strategy, and it ends with an action. Our goal is to send a lethal shockwave through MAGA world by exercising the political power of women to take control of the House in 2026 and cause upsets, defeats at all levels of our government. Democrats will take over the House to put up roadblocks for every horrible policy and action that Trump wants to take. But that's just the beginning. We'll orchestrate so many victories that will convince Republicans they have lost the will of the people and that Donald Trump is a flawed leader, and they will suffer grave consequences unless they too act to stop him. I want the results of the coming election to be so overwhelming that they isolate Trump and we can begin to repair our democracy. How will we create this political shockwave? Emily's List will follow our battle-proven strategy to create this political upheaval. We're already recruiting effective, determined candidates and helping them build strong campaigns. We'll reach out to women voters to convince them to vote for Democrats up and down the ballot. We'll raise millions of dollars to create the victories that can turn this country around. We'll be smart, strategic, innovative, and unrelenting. We know how to win tough elections. Hell, we've been electing women for decades. So here's my prescription for you to wake up from your political nightmare and realize we can turn our country around. Every time you read about a Trump action and begin that awful cycle of emotions, I suggest you act. For every story that scares you, put $10 in your cookie jar. Every time you get so angry you want to throw your iPad across the room, put $10 in the cookie jar. Feel like crying, trying not to scream? You know what to do. Act. Put another $10 in the cookie jar, and every month you send that money to our Emily's List candidates and Emily's List. And then, yes, and then we'll have the resources to create the most important political turnaround in our lives. Are you ready to do that? All right. Well, that's our dream, but more importantly, that's our strategy for 2026, and we need you to make it true. You have to act. I have to act. Not once a year, not once an election cycle, over and over again. We all have to act together. And if we do, we will win in November. We will defeat Republicans, elect a record number of women, and use the power of women to rebuild our democracy. It's been the joy and honor of my life to lead and be a part of Emily's List. I am so proud of what we've accomplished together, and I am so excited about what we're going to do in the future. I want to thank you very much for honoring me tonight and for all you do to make sure Emily's List and women are the most powerful political forces in this country. Thank you very much.
Please welcome President of Emily's List, Jessica Mackler, Emily's List Board Chair, Rebecca Hiley, former U.S. Senator from California and formerly Emily's List President, LaFonza Butler, and former Emily's List President, Stephanie Shryock.